Let's give a warm welcome to Gentry.
Thanks. How do I start the timer? Well, hi. I'm going to jump right in and whip through this because it's been a long day, and there's a cocktail party afterwards. So my name is Gentry Lane. I have a couple, I work for TDO Media, so we have a couple media properties. I'm going to jump and I'll talk about that at the very end. Here's my social media things that all the kids today are talking about. So please do connect with me, and if I say something you like, come up and meet me afterwards. I have a bazillion business cards, and if I say something you don't like, just go home. So my talk basically presupposes, I should tell you also that my studio focuses on, I'm going to be talking about cinematic VR. We focus exclusively about short form, high-end cinematic VR, so I'm not a gaming person. When I say VR, I mean that. So my talk presupposes that we have a problem, that humanity needs saving, and I have a very, very, very strong opinion about this. Here's my proof. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a great audience. Good night. No. I know it's confusing sometimes to think that we live in this time of great technological advancement. How could humanity be in trouble? And the truth is that the hockey stick of Moore's law of technological advancement is not the same as civilization. They're actually not at all correlated. Really quickly, I just want to show you this slide. It's the fall of what empire am I talking about? It could be Roman or the one that we have right now. Actually, this is what happens when any empire falls. So you'll see we have all of these. So that means the Western European American empire is falling. The good news is it's not an immediate thing. Empires fall over a 300-year period on average, so we could probably say that the founding of America was the beginning of the end. And when I say a civilization is falling, it doesn't mean their technology is falling, because technology keeps going. But I mean our humanity. And when I say humanity, I'm talking about this, the quality or state of being kind to other people or to animals. And this is the thing that makes humans human, right? Well, that, and we can simulate the future better and faster than other animals. But the fact that we play well together, that we help each other, that we are hardwired to be kind. Our natural default state is actually nice. Does anyone disagree with that? No. Unless, show of hands, how many sociopaths in the audience tonight? Okay, good. There's probably a few, statistically speaking. But there is something that's happening. Nobody likes mean people. However, we've seen to normalize meanness. And it comes out in these ways: indifference, apathy, complacency, anonymous aggression. These are all perfectly acceptable. The anonymous aggression, of course, I'm talking about trolling, which none of us have ever done, posted an anonymous thing. But, like I say, these are all pretty normal. You've probably shown indifference, apathy, and complacency, all of them today. We walk by really horrible, horrible situations as if they're not there. And that's a loss of humanity. What it is we're desensitized. So we see these horrible, atrocious things, and they don't affect us like they used to. We became desensitized not because of one thing, but because of incremental repeat exposure. So there's a lot of studies that say violent video games cause violence, or for every study that says it does, violent video games do cause violence, there's another study that says it doesn't. So I think what we can assume, there's not a correlation, there's not a corollary effect. However, there's a long-term erosion. So anytime you have repeat exposure to anything, you get desensitized. And my point is, it's eroding our humanity. At one point, any man's death was a big deal. And now, live footage of real people really getting killed may be disturbing. By the way, this was at the Bataclan. I lived in France for 15 years. These are my friends. So I actually know someone who was shot and killed, and you could see it. And that shouldn't be. I'm all for free speech and all, but this isn't right. It's not right when it's really somebody you know. So are we upset and overwhelmed? Because this is the inspirational part of the talk. It starts now. We can do something about this. And when I say we, it's not the world. It's specifically you guys sitting here in this room right now. Because VR is the most powerful storytelling tool on the planet. So as much as other media has eroded our humanity, VR can build it up, and build it up quicker, faster, better than anything else. And if you don't believe me, media is more powerful right now than any politician, institution, or government. We pass laws, they take forever. But an independent movie comes out, and boom, 6 months later, McDonald's gets rid of their supersize. And again, TV changes our language, our speech patterns. This was the funniest thing, too. Like I mentioned, I left the country for 15 years, and then I came back, and all of a sudden, people had this weird speech impediment. They would say regular sentences like they were questions, and I was a foreigner in my own country, and everybody picked that up from this stupid TV show that I'd never heard of before because I lived in France and we don't have American TV. And same thing with this that came from Saturday Night Live. So just think, we have at our disposition a medium that's even more powerful. And again, you don't even need a medium. This phenomenon raised $115 million. That's a pretty significant thing. Humans are hardwired to help. We want to help. We want to band together. We want community. We want to help and make things better. That's just how we are. But we need to normalize pro-social behavior, pro-social or world-positive behavior, because right now, media is normalizing this anti-social behavior. So how can VR do this? Like I said, it's the most powerful storytelling tool on the planet because it requires 0% suspension of disbelief. When you watch something on TV, you have to jump over all these hurdles. Like, you're looking at a box with just a bunch of pixels. You know that somebody wrote the TV show. You know those are actors. You know that none of it is real. Like, it's not really happening in your living room, and it's not, the story you're watching isn't real at all. Yet, you get pulled into Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, or CSI, or whatever. VR, as you know, we're plopped into this world, and our brains, our hearts, our emotions, our parasympathetic nervous systems, our limbic systems react as if it's real life. So with that, it's like immersive learning a gazillion times faster than reading any book or watching anything on TV. Also, we have a captive audience. So we have the opportunity to strip the audience of all their outside social associations. This is an awesome thing for us that we've never had with any other media, because if you watch a play or you watch a movie, you're sitting in an audience and you can watch and see like how other people are reacting. I remember when I saw E.T., and you're super into it, and E.T.'s in the front of the bike, and Elliot starts pedaling, and they start to fly, and you get all super excited, and I welled up with tears, and I looked over to see if other people were crying, because I was, I didn't know how I should feel. I was a little embarrassed to cry in public, but in VR, you're in public, but you're not in public. You're in your own private world. We can make people cry. We can grab them by their hearts. We're stripping them of social mores. We have them at their most vulnerable. It's a really good, powerful thing. Also, VR is unregulated right now. I think this is awesome. It's not going to be like this for much longer, but there's no R rating. There's nobody saying that you can't put this content on during the day or during pride time. This we need to use to our advantage while we can. And there's no gatekeepers. So I don't know how many of you work in TV and film. Like I have a background in TV and film and theater. Nobody? Yay, you. Hi, people. So when you go pitch a show, you can have the best show in the world with the best platform and A-list celebrities attached to it, and the execs at CBS that you're pitching it to will just be right there with you and crying and say, oh. Yeah, we're not going to take it. And they'll pass on it because the people who decide what TV content or what play or what movie, whatever, gets on TV, they're really actually not interested in content, not because they're bad people, but because content on TV it's a commodity for selling advertising. So since we're not yet monetizing our content with advertising, I know that's coming, but we don't have to pass these people who are just doing their jobs, doing iterations of what has worked in prior seasons so they can keep their position and keep their audience numbers up and not take risks. So that's amazing. We have the power to be super crazy creative. So let me recap again. We have the greatest all-time storytelling tool at our disposal. Our audiences are forced to pay attention in a super raw, vulnerable way. No one is telling us what to do or how to do it. We can broadcast where we want, when we want, to whomever we want. Yeah. So what are we doing? Before you get all power crazy, I'm a big fan of Napoleon, think about what we're doing, because with this great power comes great responsibility. As we're taking people on round trips across the reality bridge, what are we actually doing? We're moving people between planes of reality. Have you ever seen, I will never get tired of showing somebody VR, putting on a headset for the first time, because they take it off and then they look at the world like it looks weird. Reality looks strange, and there's a couple reasons, there's two reasons, and no one can ever, when they're doing it, they can never put their finger on, never tell you like why they're blinking and what looks so weird. But number one, we see better in VR. Our human eyes are the worst. They're basically like pinhole cameras. We see nothing, just the narrowest thing of the light spectrum, and we can't see any kind of radio waves or anything like that. It's terrible. But in VR, we see a lot better. There's more data, it's richer. Better focus also, especially if you were at the light field thing before. And the other thing is you're zipping them in and out of the fifth dimension. You're taking them to a world within a world. So they're going between planes of reality. And that's a pretty big deal. Now, we're kind of used to it. We're a little desensitized, right? We do it all the time. Although it's still difficult for me when I've been in a VR experience that I really like to come back out in the real world. So think about it. It's going to have consequences. When a lot of people are doing this, I mean, this may cause existential crises, spiritual awakenings, or I'm hoping spontaneous mass comprehension of black hole thermodynamics and string theory. God, what a great world that would be if people understood quantum physics. Because then they'll get it. I mean, we all know when we're in VR, virtual reality is the worst name for this technology because it's not virtual, it's real. When you're in there, you're real. And we're creating these we are gods creating these alternate universes. So my call to action, you guys, what are you gonna do? I don't like telling people what to do because I don't like being told what to do. But I think we can do better than the sort of content that's coming out right now. We're going after the low-hanging fruit. I like zombies as much as the next person, but does blowing things up in outer space, does another haunted asylum VR experience, what is that adding to the world? What is that doing? And there's a little thing I'd like to leave with. I'd like to hopefully inspire you to think about this. What I always do is remember, number one, the campground rule, and that's you should leave your campsite better than when you got there. So maybe think about leaving your viewers better than when they put on the headset. And I'm not suggesting everybody has to go out and go to South Sudan and make documentaries, but about make everybody aware of a terrible world crisis. Just anything better informed, better educated, better entertained, better feeling, maybe better in a pro-social way. And then the other thing I have at my company hanging up on the wall is a manifesto. So it's 13 points of everything we have to do in every single VR experience. And the campground rule is just number one. I'm always trying to push the technology in every single way. And maybe it's in terms of graphics, maybe it's in terms of something boring like the processing power or the way it streams, or the way it renders, or or just something, something. Every single, I'm just not kicking out, or I was a couple months ago, but just from now on, I'm not kicking out experiences that I can make with my eyes closed. It's time to take it up to the next level with every single thing we put out. And yeah, that's it. That's my talk. I think that's 20 minutes, so thank you very much. Does anyone else have anything they want to add or talk about or whatever? Okay, let's go get a drink. Or come say hi. And thank you, everyone.